What's up? Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the Central. Good evening on the East Coast. How y'all doing, family? How was your day? I hope it was all of that, just like you are all of that. Yes, you are. You know I love you, Black. You know I love you strong, right? Thank you so much for joining the live. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to file in. We got a special edition show tonight. That's right. The very lovely, beautiful, talented Tara Perry, running for City Council, District 8, Los Angeles. We're going to talk about it. Come on in. Get your watch parties going. Share, share, share. Come on. You guys know that we're listening to the lovely sounds of my very talented brother, Robert Sine. Love him to Reese's Pieces for allowing me to use his music as the background here at the Friends of ADOS TV show. Yes. Y'all hear that? That's what's up. That's one of my favorite numbers. Absolutely. Come on in. Get your watch parties going. I'm going to set up and get my watch party going too. And when this song goes, we're going to fade it down and bring up Tara so we can talk about it. She doesn't have long with us tonight, but we definitely want to know who are the incredible ADOS speaking full-chested about our reparations, about our Black agenda on the local, state, and federal levels. Oh yeah, ADOS, we here. That's right. We sure are. So come on in, family. Enjoy the sound so I get the watch party going. Oh man, every time I jump off of there, it's okay. Hi, Shamika. ADOS ATL in the house. I love you for joining the live. Thank you. Make sure you announce where you throwing bricks from when you come into the live so I can shout you out, family. Come on, let's get it. Let's go. All right. Start your watch parties. We about to get into this. Yes. Because you guys know that there's no way to get this done until we get at least 25% of us in the House, in the Senate, and replacing everywhere. Everywhere, ADOS, right? That's what we've got to do to get this done. All right. So let's get it going. Thank y'all for joining the live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Angela Nirvana. What's up, Troy? Troy Creasy, ADOS, Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for joining the live. I'm so glad to be here with you tonight, family. This is a special edition, as I mentioned at the top of the show, because Tara Perry, here in Southern California, she running for City Council, District 8. She's coming for the dim darling Marquise Harris Dawson. And we're going to talk about her platform, how she got involved in politics, and just chill with her for as long as she can give us. It's not going to be a long show, family. She's got so much on her plate. What's up, Avery? Thank you for joining the live. Yeah, she's got so much on her plate, but she decided to take a few minutes to spend with us so we can understand who's out here rocking hard for ADOS. Who's out here representing for ADOS? ADOS Oklahoma in the house. Thank you, Avery, for letting me know where you're throwing bricks. What's up, Bruce Jones? ADOS Pittsburgh in the building. I see you, Bruce. Okay, well, thank you so much. Love what you do, Queen. I love you, Black. I love you, strong. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for your love, your support. I appreciate you guys more than I've got words to convey. Thank you so much. So, without further ado, let me bring her on upstairs. The one, the only, the lovely, incomparable Tara Perry. Stand by, family. Let me bring her up. There she is.
What a
Hi,
wonderful
Tara.
introduction. Hi, Angela. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed and unstoppable. Thank you so much.
Wonderful,
Hi,
wonderful.
Roslyn. She's here
Thank you.
from, I'm at work in Jersey, but she's ADOS, New York City. I just
All
thank you
right.
guys so much for joining us. Make sure you start your watch parties. This is the beautiful Tara Perry. I've been privileged to know her. Oh, it's probably been about 9 months now. We met each other under the ADOS SoCal banner back when it was formed. What's up, Cat Lego? I see you. Cat Lego is down here in ADOS SoCal. Is he slinging bricks with Los Angeles? He might be. It doesn't matter. We are all ADOS, one family, one bloodline. But anywho, like I was saying, we're
Nah,
super excited.
he's Africa Town.
Huh?
He's Africa Town.
He's Africa Town?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, guess what? We all one. That's what we are.
Yes,
And we're
sir.
just so grateful to have you here.
What up,
And without
Caligo?
further, yes, I just want for you to talk with us and share with us. I was telling my audience, like I have been for some time now, about you, your candidacy, and what we're doing on a local, state, and federal level to get ADOS representation for people like yourself, beautiful, strong, powerful people like you who are
Mhm.
rocking with the ADOS agenda. Could you just give us a little bit of your background and how you came to politics?
Sure. First off, thank you so much for having me, Angela. I know our schedules have been uh, unable to align, but I'm glad we finally got it together, and I'm so privileged and honored to be here. And what's up, everybody in the chat? Let's see. You asked how did I get into politics? So I've always been an activist. I was a member of Black Lives Matters. Before Black Lives Matters, I was just almost at every protest that had anything to do with Black folks and shootings by the police. I was in Riverside when Taisha Miller was killed. Um, let's see. So there's that. I've done work with reproductive justice. I've worked with a lot of nonprofits. And I've just really been a social justice warrior majority of my life. And I just got to a point where it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to continue to go and agitate. Like, we need to actually become a part of this system to actually change the actual laws and the rules. And so I'm just really at a point where I'm kind of fed up with asking people for help. And it's just time for us to make the change ourselves.
I love that. Could you tell the family a little bit about Taisha Miller? Is that her name?
Yeah, Taisha Miller was a young woman. I think she was maybe 19, and she was asleep in her car in Riverside at a gas station. And someone called the police and thought either she was on drugs or something like that. But I believe she was just like working late from like a really late, long shift, and she decided to pull over and take a nap in the gas station. And I believe I'm trying to remember the exact numbers, but her I think maybe like one or two officers showed up to the scene. They called for backup. They tried to wake her. They knocked and knocked and knocked. And I guess by the time she finally woke up, she startled them. And at that point, it was maybe about 9, 10 officers, and they riddled her car with bullets. And at that time, I was about 13, 14 years old, maybe between 12 and 14. And I just remember being floored by that happening because I'm a young kid and I'm under the impression that the police are supposed to take care of us and they're there to protect and serve Black people as citizens. Well, really all of us. And so it was just it was really a rude awakening, I guess. And so that's kind of what happened. And then in the whole process of her family trying to find justice, the police were really antagonizing the family, the protesters. They shaved their heads. They all like came out in like uniform and came out as kind of like skinheads, and it was really baffling. And that was like my first protest. And Al Sharpton spoke and things like that. I begged my mother if I could go down there, and she let me. And so it was just really eye opening to what the uphill battle that Black folks had in front of them. And just ever since then, I've just been a social justice warrior.
Well, we thank you so much for
Mm.
championing the cause of ADOS
Yeah.
and
And rest in
just
peace,
your,
Taisha Miller, too.
yes, rest in peace, Taisha Miller, and all of our ADOS brothers and sisters who have been murdered, assassinated
Absolutely.
by the race
Mhm.
soldiers called the cops.
Yes.
Rest in peace to each of
Yes.
you. And I'm just so grateful to the youth like yourself who are deciding to
Thank you.
become a part of the solution. So
Yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
for your strength and your fortitude to join this race.
Yeah. Can I
Uh,
also say, I also work as a paralegal for a civil rights firm, and that's what we do is sue the police. So, like, this passion, like this igniting of a flame, it continues to burn in me, and I'm very passionate about my people and making sure that we get justice, and I will take it as far as I can.
I love it. Thank you so much for
Mm.
sharing.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. What brought you to this particular race for city council against a dim darling like Marquise Harris Dawson? I mean, hasn't he been serving like about 6 years now?
No, he's in his first term. Marquise Harris Dawson, he was the executive director of COCO, which, or it's a community coalition, which was founded by Karen Bass. So he's like her mentee.
And who
And
is Karen Basque for the
Karen
people that
Bass,
don't?
oh yes, yes, yes. She's one of our congressional members here in Los Angeles. I want to say 37th district. I don't remember the number, but yeah, she's
And
our
she's the
council
head of the
member.
CBC.
And she's also the head of the CBC, correct.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's who Marquise Harris Dawson is. And so I'm also an elected official here in Los Angeles or in South Central for Park Mesa Heights Neighborhood Council. I am the secretary there. And in sitting on the board, and I hope I don't get, well, I don't really care if I get in trouble for this, but this is my personal experience. So in sitting on the board, I'm really believing like, hey, we need more resources. Like, how do I get involved? How do I get our people the things that they need? And so I run for the seat. I win. I actually get the highest votes ever recorded for a neighborhood council election. And so I win the seat. And so I get into the seat, and of course we're I guess direct liaisons to Marquise Harris Dawson's office because he is our council member. And I just kind of started paying attention to, as Yvette say, they're not Black leaders, they're gatekeepers of the status quo. And
Mm.
so I really saw a lot of that in the work we were trying to get done with our neighborhood council. We would ask for jobs reports. It was a lot of filibustering, and they didn't have any real answers for us. But mind you, like I'm a Black millennial living in South Central. I'm directly impacted by what's happening. There were little to no jobs here. It was hard for me to find work. I know a lot of people who are unemployed. I know a lot of people who are doing maybe not so legal things to survive. And then you in here playing and not giving an accurate jobs report or a full jobs report. Where are these jobs that were promised when you ran? He ran on bringing public sector jobs to the community. There was a targeted local hire program that's been implemented that was supposed to allot for 5,000 city jobs for, they called it a targeted population people, which is like Black folks, Latino folks, low income, reentry people, people who've experienced chronic homelessness. And that was supposed to be 5,000 jobs in 4 years. I'm sorry, in 3 years. It's been 4 years and only 700 jobs have been filled. And only 51 of those jobs have been filled from CD8, and we have the highest unemployment in the district. So that's just me framing it. So this is our situation. And so I'm asking them for an accurate jobs report. They're playing games, they're lying, they don't think I've done my homework, and they're like, "Oh, 600 people have been hired." And I'm asking, "Hey, 600 people? Yes. For the entire city or for the district? I'm asking for the numbers for the district. They're like, no, the district. Oh, okay. Well, let me show you my receipts from the posts you guys put up on Instagram. And I need an accurate jobs report. This was in October. And when I left that meeting, I said, you know what? This is not okay, and this is not enough. And in being ADOS, we're getting equipped with the political knowledge and the proper terms to use to make it specifically about us. So you know what? I left that meeting and I said, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what percent of ADOS is in your district being underserved by an ADOS Marquise Harris Dawson?
Yeah, that's a good question. So District 8 is 59% Latino, 38% Black, African American, and it's like 1% white, 1% Asian, and some other like mixtures in there. However, that's population. But when you look at the electorate, we're 82% of the electorate. So a lot of people overlook those numbers because they go, oh, well, you have a huge Latino population. Who are you? You know, you have to cater to both. And it's like, no, I have to cater to the actual voters. And that's not to slight anyone. That's just being real. And a lot of Black folks in this area, ADOS people, they're tired of being overlooked for other populations. Not saying other people's issues aren't important, but it's that we have needs that are specific to us. And we are tired of putting people in place who are not going to look out for us, who are not going to speak to us.
Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we spoke about getting ADOS a certain distinction here in the state of California and in all the states throughout the country,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can put a wall around what's owed us and what is due us. With that said, how will you, as City Councilwoman of District 8, guarantee jobs, guarantee affordable housing, guarantee salaries that are commensurate with the cost of living, not this $15 an hour that Bernie Sanders is on? How will you guarantee these things for the ADOS vote in your district?
So right now, so right now, since we have Prop 209 in place, until that is revoked, you technically cannot do preferential treatment by race. And of course, one of the first things I would like to do is make sure Prop 209 is revoked or reversed, because I believe our California legislatures, they actually passed, they actually voted to reverse it, but Jerry Brown vetoed it. So now that we have a new governor, Gavin Newsom, I'm hoping that with some real pressure, we can get 209 overturned. So that's one of the
Can you
first things.
explain what 209 is for the audience from all over the country?
Yeah, basically Prop 209 is an anti-affirmative action bill. It basically says that you cannot take race into consideration when it comes to college admissions and or government contracts and a few other things. But one of the most important things is government contracts, right? Because they're one of the highest paid. Like if you know, that's how people make a lot of money. People make a lot of wealth from government contracts. So if Black folks have preferential treatment, then that's how we can also start bringing more wealth into our communities. We have tons of Black businesses. We have tons of Black contractors. There's lots of development happening in South Central right now, but we're not working on these projects. We don't own these construction companies that the city has decided to hire. So there's that. There's dismantling Prop 209. I'm sorry. Prop 209. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Hello? Hey, come on up. Are you here? It's the one with the black truck in the driveway. Just come on in. I'm sorry. I have an interview, so just walk on in the door. Oh, okay, bye. So sorry. That's so unprofessional. Rude. Can you edit that out?
Okay. Well,
Sorry. I'm so
honey,
sorry. My god brother's in
ADOS,
town and we were having dinner and I'm so sorry, y'all. But okay, so
no,
that's Prop 209,
ADOS is very loving and
right?
forgiving. So trust me,
Yeah.
they've seen me
Okay.
do a number of things. Manage track meets. They've heard me on the phone. Managing girlfriends I haven't talked to in forever.
OMG.
It's
I'm so
family,
sorry.
honey.
So,
Family.
okay, glad. I'm good. I'm glad that I'm in a safe space. So, yeah, so Prop 209. Also, there's targeted local hiring, or not targeted local hiring, because that's the program that I just mentioned about the 5,000 jobs. But there's a local hire ordinance that requires certain contractors, if you get a government contractor, if you get tax subsidies, or if, like, even just getting permits in our city to build here, there is a labor agreement that you have to hire at least 30% of the people on your projects from the area, right? I used to work for a nonprofit that used to go and calculate the Black folks on these projects. We're not there. And not only are we not there, Marquise's office does not have an enforcement arm. So it's like you can't just keep running because you're a handsome Black guy who's educated, went to Morehouse, and the people just go, oh, okay, he's cool. Like, I've had people who are so fed up with this man that have came up to me and said, lady, I will vote for a Klansman before I vote for him. So, people are waking up, and it's a new day for Black politics, and so we're kind of tired of being shafted, and that's why I'm running, and I'm going to get us all the resources we can get. We have a $10
I,
billion budget annually, so we coming for that money.
I love it. And how much does Marquise currently give to the ADOS in District 8? How much do they benefit from that? 10 billion. Oh, wow.
No, I don't know. No, he doesn't. I would say he doesn't. I would say all Marquise does is rename intersections after people and give city council awards. That's all I've ever seen him do. And even when he gave he renamed Crenshaw and Slauson. He renamed Crenshaw and Slauson after Nipsey Hussle. Hey, how are you? He renamed Crenshaw Slauson after Nipsey Hussle. I went down there to City Hall and said, look, this is wonderful. Honor the man, right? He's amazing. However, put some real money behind it and actually bring money back into the community and allow for people to have to open up their own businesses and allow for business grants and loans and things like that. He was all about fortifying the community and buying back the block. Allow us to buy back the block. He didn't like that. He did not like that. So it was there. And then I also told him we're tired of the symbolic politics. Like, bring some real money to our community. This street sign, this intersection renaming, this does nothing for our community.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
What's your take on opportunity zones? Is he involved with that in any way? Because
Yeah.
I
He's a
think it's
huge
very
proponent
good for
of
our community.
he's a huge proponent of opportunity zones. He actually did a conference with what's his name? David Rose, who was one of Nipsey Hussle's business
Realtor.
partners and
Mhm.
realtors and business partners, and who else? T.I. and I want to say Charlemagne the God. So you can find that on YouTube. Check that out. But he doesn't say much of anything. Like, he is really about helping to gentrify South Central, and he's not helping Black folks at all. He just
But
approved a massive eviction project at Dorset Village, and off of what's that? 10th and Slauson.
okay, so I know that you have a dinner engagement. Can you please tell us what we can do to get you elected? How can people throughout the country do phone banking for you? Do you have trainings for phone banking? How much time do we have? And where do they give donations?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, please donate. A lot of people, not that we can't say ADOS, and I do, and I'm not a undercover ADOSer, but like, we need ADOS money. Like, if we're pushing this Black agenda, if we're pushing ADOS politics, we need ADOS to fund these races, because no
Yes,
one
we
else is giving
do.
us money. A lot of people are coming to me telling me I'm xenophobic, and I'm having these ADOS conversations, look, I can't sway everybody. I don't have the time, but we have to fund our own movements because that's how the Dems are staying in power, is because they have the money. Please go to my website, taraperry4citycouncil.org, and that's for FOR. Follow me on all of my Instagrams. It's Tara Perry for City Council, or Tara Perry for the number 4 CD8 on Facebook and Twitter. But Instagram is Tara
Hold
Perry
on.
for City Council.
I'm typing this in the chat so people
Oh,
can have
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Tara
Sure.
Perry, FOR, citycouncil.org. Tara Perry, the number 4. What else?
Yeah, 4 CD8.
And that's which handle is that?
That's Twitter and that's Facebook. And Instagram
Hold
is
on. Slow down, please. Twitter and Facebook handle. Okay, and then you said Instagram is, just give me a second, I'm typing. Instagram is what?
It's the same as my website without the .org. So Tara Perry for City Council.
Spelled out.
Yep. But yes, please volunteer. You can sign up as a volunteer on my website. You can also donate. You can also just join the group and receive a newsletter and all of the events and updates. But please, support your ADOS candidates. We need you guys.
Let me ask you one last thing. Are we able to set up recurring payments on your site?
No, due to ethics, like you have to kind of fill out the form every time you contribute.
Every time. Okay, and does this all go to you or does it go to the DNC?
Oh no, I don't have a DNC. I have a political PayPal because the DNC, they have their, I think it's like blue ink or something like that, to where they process your credit cards. But no, it goes all to me. I don't have an endorsement from the DNC.
PayPal. I think if it goes through PayPal, we can actually set up recurring payments. So check that out, guys, to see if you go to PayPal that you can actually set up recurring payments. Sometimes it's easier for us to do smaller monthly donations. What's the time frame so we can know based on how much we want to contribute? What are your deadlines for money?
Oh, you can also donate at Cash App, and that is the cash tag TP4CD8. I know that's easier for a lot of folks, but
is it FOR or the number 4? TP.
The number 4, TP4CD8. And then we'll have to email you a contribution form to fill it out and send it back. So just make sure we get your email address.
Okay. And will you be hosting any, it's what Tamara Sheely does. She does phone bank training. Will you be hosting any phone bank trainings for the people who are across the country that want to make dials?
Yes, we definitely will. If you go and sign up for, fill out the volunteer form, my campaign manager, Comey Perrette, will contact you and basically onboard you for the phone banking.
And how long do we have to make you a success? Do we have from now through November to get you the victory, or?
So right now we have till March 3rd. What we have to do is, if we can't beat Marquise, we have to prevent him from getting 50% plus 1% of the votes, because in our primary for the city elections, if you get 50% plus 1, you just win outright. So that we wouldn't have to go into a runoff in November. But if we keep him from cracking 50%, he will actually go into a runoff, and then we'll see him in November.
Okay, so right now we need to push for a runoff. And could you explain?
I don't want to push for a runoff. Get Tara 50% plus 1 so I can win, and we can call it a day.
Okay. But we have to accomplish the 50% plus 1 by March the 3rd.
March 3rd.
or prevent him from doing 50% plus one for a runoff. Wait, prevent him from doing 50% plus one so that you can run off in November.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are our options. Get
Yes.
you the 50% plus one by March 3rd, or
Yes.
prevent him from getting 50% plus one for a runoff in November.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say it right?
Correct.
Okay. So we've got a lot of work to do in a very short space of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So
So
those of you
family,
who are in Los Angeles, hey, we need you. We need boots on the ground, and we need to actually really pound the pavement and get folks out and registered to vote.
and aren't you a write-in candidate? Could you explain to my audience what that means?
Yeah. So in LA City, they have a requirement when you get your nomination petitions, you have to get at least 500 signatures, and they have to be good signatures. They have to be people who live in your district and registered voters. So there were 7 candidates in the race during the nomination period. However, the county found a way to disqualify everyone else's signatures but the incumbent. So he's the only one on the ballot, but he's not the only one in the race. So you have the option
Interesting.
to run as a write-in afterwards. So if you want to know more about that, there is an article the LA Times wrote, and this election cycle is the largest rejection rate, has the largest rejection rate for any of the city's elections ever. So there are a lot of investigations happening. But yeah, he's the only one in the ballot for this district for now. But that's why I had to run as a write-in candidate. They managed to disqualify myself and a few other people.
So even though you got the 500 signatures, they disqualified you.
Yes, I exceeded the 500, but they found a way to disqualify them.
Okay. So when we go to the polls, if we live in District 8 for March 3rd for the primary,
Mm-hmm.
when we get to where he is, we just write your name in. If we're
Yes.
CD8, we just write Tara Perry.
Yes, you would skip right over Marquise's name, and then if you're using a paper ballot, you would. Oh, I should go grab my ballot. You can actually bubble in. You have to bubble in, write in, and then write in my name, TARAPERRY. If you go to the actual polling place, it's digitized, and so it's a touch screen and all that. You would see Marquise's name. You would see City Council District 8, and then you would click the more button. You have to click more at the bottom and then click write in. And then when you click the write in, you can type in the actual name. I actually have a demonstration on my Instagram.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Can you just, before you go, this will be my last
Oh,
question.
wait,
Can
sorry,
you?
really quick. In regards
Sure.
to the District 8 voting. So if you're not sure which district you live in, you can go to neighborhoodinfo.lacity.org and you can place in your address. Of course, you click enter and all that great stuff, and it will tell you who all of your legislators are in your area. So if you're
Can
in
you give
District
that to
8,
me again? I'm typing it.
sure.
Neighborhood dot.
Here, I can actually write it in. Can I write it in here?
I don't know if you can write in the chat.
I don't think I can. Nope, it's not letting me. Okay, cool.
I'm
Yes, it's
typing.
neighborhoodinfo.
Oh wait,
Dot
hold
L.
on.
Uh-huh.
I did it wrong. Info dot
LA City.
LA City
Mm-hmm. .org.
.org to find out which district you are in.
Yes. So if Marquise Harris Dawson shows up, you live in my district and you should be writing in my name.
Okay, you live in. And Ken, while I'm finishing this typing, can you please share with my viewers what are some of your agenda items? Like when you get into office, What are the things you're intending to do your first term in office? Just bullet points,
Sure.
if you want to.
Of course, stop
Yeah.
gentrification and how we're stop gentrification. How we're going to do that is really enforce the targeted local hire. We want to bring back affordable housing. Right now, affordable housing, the metric they're using is going based on the county's median income and not the local area's median income. With if you're going by the county's median income, it's like a $50,000 discrepancy. So that's how people are getting priced out. That's how we're going to stop gentrification. That's how we're going to stop homelessness. We're going to stop homelessness. We're going to build more not only I wouldn't say shelters. They're building a lot of shelters, and I don't think people don't want to live in those things. We have to find ways to build more housing for people to live in and for families to live in. And I also have the Thousand Black Men's Initiative. And in my first term, I want to take 1,000 Black men from unemployment to home ownership. Black men have been severely economically locked out, and we have to figure out ways to bring them back in. And of course, enforce police accountability.
I love it, Tara. I
Thank
want
you.
to thank you so much for all that you do for ADOS. We're so blessed to have your energy and your love and compassion for ADOS people.
Mhm.
And we're going to do everything in our power, myself included. Oh, before I finish, we have a general meeting for ADOS SoCal where Tara will be present. And we're going to go over the ballot, over the initiatives, talk about ways you can help Tara, talk about the ADOS movement, and get you signed up and on the track to obtain membership within the ADOS SoCal. As you see, we've got extraordinary talent like Tara running for office all throughout the country. So find out who the ADOS are in your state and please put the full weight of your support behind them because the conditions for ADOS people do not change locally
Mhm.
until we unseat the lame elected officials that are currently taking up space and doing nothing to advance us as a people.
Yep.
Remember, we built all of this. We built it. Be proud of that and support. If you aren't here in California, Tara will gladly accept your help via phone banking and especially your dollars. She is absolutely right. This is why we have formed the Friends of ADOS Super PAC, so we can take the cap off of the monies we can collect to run ads. Right now, we should have a war chest to run ads for candidates like Tara. There's no reason why she shouldn't win, given how little the current city councilman is doing for District 8. Spread this, share it, start your watch parties. And if you know people in Los Angeles, please have them come out February 21st to the party venue that's on a Friday from 7 to 8:30. Doors open at 6:30 to help us get Tara elected by March the 3rd. Okay? Thank you, family, for watching. Thank you for joining the live. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your watch parties. And thank you, Tara, for all you do. We're eternally grateful.
Mm.
And I want you to make it a blessed rest of your evening. And before I let you go, I want you to be included in my prayer of protection that I always close out to make sure ADOS and its allies are protected by the Spirit, Mother, Father, Spirit, Divine, God that is inherent in each and every one of us. If for those of you who are atheists or don't want prayer, this is the time for you to turn off your live. I respect all people and how you practice, but this is a harmless prayer protection, and it simply goes like this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God is. And until Saturday, family, when I'll be with Marlon Aldridge discussing making the case for the Friends of ADOS Super PAC, that's on this Saturday, 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern. I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening and work week. Until then, I love you, Black. I love you, strong. ADOS, we are here. Good night, family. Mwah. Thank you,
Thank
Tara.
you so much. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, fam. Have a good night, everybody.